Hi, my name is Dr. Marcia Morgan, and I would like to tell you a bit about my book, Black Women Prison Service Employees, The Intersectionality of Gender and Race. This book is based on my PhD research, which examined the psychosocial experience of black women working in Her Majesty's Prison and Probation Service. This book places black women at the centre of the analysis. It places black women at the centre of the research. This is about black women working in a particular organisational context, which is quite similar to many other organisations in regards to its white male domination. Prisons, like other institutions, tend to render black women invisible because they are white and they are patriarchal. Prisons, although slightly different to some organisations in regards to their environment, which has a very unique culture, which is made up of suspicion, mistrust, and violence, areas which I explore within this book, looking at how this particular environment is experienced by black women as gendered and racialised subjects who share neither race or gender with the dominant group. Prisons are made up of various tasks and roles and responsibilities. This may cause tension, and this is where the psychosocial comes into this study, because the individuals that work in prisons are experiencing the prison work in very different ways. In regards to this book, black women, not as just employees, but as gendered and racialised subjects, experience the organisation in a different way to, for example, white women, who may only experience gender discrimination, and black men, who may only experience racism, because black women experience both gender and racial inequality simultaneously. Therefore, the intersectionality of race and gender plays a prominent part in this book and in their experience, because they are unable to choose between their gender or race when it comes to their experience, because their experience is based on their gendered racialisation. What this book does, which is unique because there is no other book in the UK that focuses on black women's psychosocial experience in the prison service, looks at the organisational structures as well. It looks at how practices that may seem rational to the individuals who are actually going through those processes may actually be experienced in an unconscious way, in a negative way, by those who are gendered and racialised. The book looks at the transition from entering the prison service into understanding the culture, which I mentioned earlier, of violence, mistrust and suspicion. It also looks at the transition of being a black woman prison service employee, particularly being a prison officer, and what that means for those individuals. Triangular relationships, which involves a relationship with three people in which one person is sometimes excluded, is explored, as well as group dynamics, looking at working groups and also the unconscious aspects of group workings. Throughout this book, there's a thread that goes through it all: strong black woman. It's a notion which I bring together to show how strong black woman is not just a cognitive way of reacting to adversity, but it's also a psychosocial defence mechanism which enables black women to navigate the difficult terrain of working in a white male-dominated organisation. The book also explores my role as a practitioner researcher and what that means in being a practitioner, a researcher, black and woman, completing research in a white male-dominated organisation, and the dynamics which occur in this role. This is an excellent read, and I would strongly recommend it to those who are interested in prison work, who are interested in diversity and inclusion, who is interested in the intersectionality agenda or organisational psychodynamics. This book brings together two very different theories, intersectionality theory and organisational psychodynamics theory, to understand prison work from the perspective of a marginalised group, black women. Copies of this book can be obtained from my website, www.black-women-amazons.com, or you can also purchase copies from my publisher, Edwin Mellon Press, and all leading bookstores in the UK. I hope you enjoy reading this book, and I really look forward for your feedback and your thoughts on this topic. The purpose of this book was to make prison work accessible and to be understood from a different perspective to those of white men. Thank you.